Fenari, hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. I guess in case anyone doesn't know, I'm Fernari. This is what I look like. That's Umbrella Corp. You've seen him stream a few times. And we're trying to figure out a good schedule to just do like an hour call or whatever, and it's basically going to be like a scuffed dev Q&A. I'm not a dev, but I have some insider knowledge that I might be able to hint at and stuff. And I don't really know what questions. Well, I do know a lot of the questions people are asking, but um, having it verbal instead of looking through the Discord and having it live back and forth might be helpful to people. People are welcome to jump into the Discord. This will probably only be recorded, but when what did I want to say? Whenever it's posted, people can see and a few people hop on. And then if it becomes like 20, 30 people hopping in, we might have to mute everyone and just look at text. But yeah, that's kind of the format, and that's what we're doing. Oh, and by the way, I do marketing and community management in case people didn't know that.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
for everybody who's watching, some of you know me, Umbrella Corp Gamer, also called Dean. On and off gamer, avid gamer for CTS's games, JUNKPUNK and Gunsmith. Um, for just my daily life, I work in IT and infrastructure, so it's all falling under the same ballpark. Although it's a big ballpark, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like
that's me.
saying I work with computers. Like, yeah, I program. Yeah, nice, bro. Like,
What?
yeah, I have a pretty broad. I do writing and marketing. Yeah.
So yeah.
Uh,
So Fenara, we've scheduled this call, and as you said, we're going to try and work something out on a regular basis for everybody.
mhm.
Whether it's to jump in, stay out, have a listen, this, that, and the other. And as you said, we're kind of bringing it around Junk Punk and down the line, possibly Gunsmith as well, for
Sure.
Richard and the team to obviously get feedback and listen in on what we're all kind of saying and talking about. Um, is there anything that you have an agenda basis on this conversation, or what way you want to go or start off, or
Yeah, I think the most people probably don't know this, but we did a focus group recently. And you have a video on that I think you made public eventually.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that people might find interesting. It was a 3.5 hour conversation. Kill me. I wanted it to be like an hour, hour and a half.
It just got
But
it. We did. I don't think we were expecting to get so expansive so damn quickly.
yeah, yeah. We talked about the new player experience, which I did figure would be one of the longer chats, and that was about like 30 minutes, like 20, 30 minutes, fair enough. But I didn't expect people to have so many thoughts on. We talked about Monolith One specifically,
Mm,
and the tech key as well.
yeah,
I didn't expect people to have so many thoughts on that, and Russell was very interested in that as well. So news there that I can really only hint at, I guess.
that's fine. That's
Um,
fine. But I mean, it goes to show as well that from what you say there, that the team are peeking in on us, which is good because
mm,
it's kind of good news to the players, considering that when it comes to feedback and ideas, for example, the best that not that it's a bad thing, but the best that we can get is we get to go into the Discord and put an opinion forward and hope that the devs read it. But considering you say that, kind of gives us a bit more, I suppose, positive feeling that Russell and Rich and the guys are listening in and taking into account what was said and where we're going with it, or what we're kind of aiming around.
yeah. I also did want to say, since you brought that up, that we do read. At least I do. I've
Mm,
read, I think, like every feedback message for like for the last year.
mm.
A big part of my job is to like categorize feedback. So for example, I'm pretty sure I brought this up in the focus group.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of people have questions over the drones. Why doesn't the drone work? What, like, do I have to program something? Like, is the this, that, the other thing? So like
yeah, yeah.
um
And
so
I
I'll
nearly,
just
sorry, I actually had that trouble as well without even realizing it was to do with power. I thought that the drone was bloody
yeah, yeah,
broke.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
and now I also I mentioned specifically the power part to Russell as well. So like we are aware of clarity issues around the drones and specifically the power issue as well. I also pitched specifically for that, and then I'll go back to my tangent.
Yep.
I also pitched like maybe if it's possible, give power priority to drones first. If like you have a whole network, give it to drones first, because like if for whatever reason like your belts stop working for like 30 seconds,
Mhm.
or like a machine like the like a smelter stops working for 30 seconds, you're not going to notice it. But like
Mhm.
if a drone is like flying up and down, like having trouble figuring something out, even if it's for like 5 seconds, you're immediately going to go and try to like figure that out, because it's like a big thing in the sky. You're not necessarily like looking at every machine 24/7.
Yeah.
So I think just for that to have players less panicking would be really helpful. But
Mm.
back to the tangent before the other tangent, um, is a big part of my job is like categorizing feedback. So for example, with drones, like I said, there's a lot of feedback on drones. So I screenshot all the drone related stuff.
Mhm.
I put it in a folder that I just title like drones, and then if there's enough feedback on it, I will upload it to um I don't know if I should say the program name. We have like like a whiteboard program essentially, that I say like, hey, um, feedback about drones. Here's 10, 15 screenshots over the drones. Here's kind of the overall problem. So it's like clarity, maybe some wording, maybe a tutorial, stuff like that. So I give a few suggestions I see and can think of.
Mhm.
Um, Give
I
me 5 seconds. I'm trying to see if I should say this. Yeah,
I
I guess also I'll say this. Is the biggest three things we're looking for feedback is number one, if a lot of people have it, if like a lot of people have the same feedback or the same problem or whatever. Number two, how easy is it to fix? So if it's like, hey, I think in Gunsmith, we have a machine that's I believe it's the three-way splitter, and it's like
Mhm.
one arrow goes in,
Three out.
and three arrows go to the left. I believe I forget exactly what it looks
Oh
like.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
thing.
and
Yeah,
one of the arrows is just pointing the other direction. So even though like only one person brought that up, I just quickly screenshot it and say, "Hey, next patch, just flip the arrow to the left." That's like a super easy fix.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then number three also, which would be with the splitter, is how easy is it for me to catalog and describe the problem. So again, it's literally just screenshot. This is exactly what the problem is. It's a screenshot. It's not like a super hard to recreate problem
Yeah,
that we'd
yeah,
have to spend a few hours like trying to figure out. So like if we get two of those things, it's most likely, even if we get like a lot of people complaining about it, it's most likely going to at least get put in our whiteboard thing.
yeah.
If we get two of those, it's pretty much guaranteed to get that. And if it gets three, I'm probably going to like flag it as high
Yeah.
priority. Then,
Is
um,
it kind of am I right in saying that the board you're talking about or that program is a bit like a tenable board where you get it's like a progression kind of thing. I think I've seen them before.
yeah, like, do you know what a scrum board is?
That's the word. Scrum, scrum,
Yeah,
scrum.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the word.
yeah. It's basically a slightly more advanced scrum board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And you can like the JUNKPUNK one looks a little different from the Gunsmith one, but it's basically the same thing. For
yeah,
all of you that don't know, imagine like a whiteboard, and then you have like lines down the middle. So like let's just say three, for example. So on the left, it's like to do, in the middle, in progress, and then to the right, like
yeah,
done or to be reviewed or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
And it makes it a lot easier to figure out, and like then you can put like like high priority, low priority. So like um I'm trying, like, even if something is like a lot of people say it, if it's like something I know, like we've discussed a lot is happening in like Monolith 4 or something, I might put it as like medium priority instead of like high priority.
yeah.
Or even if something is like super simple, like again the splitter thing, I might put that as a higher priority,
Mm,
because it's something that like we don't have to wait two patches to fix it. We can just do like like a small bug fix, and also we like changed some of the art real quick and did that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think and I get that as well. Like, I mean, I think there's been, if I remember, in some of the other games that I've played, I think I've seen, obviously with early access, some companies are more or less forthcoming with their roadmap, and that includes they'd show you the scrum board as well to say these are the ideas we've been given, these ones were rejected, and
Hmm.
these are the ones that we're considering to move on, yada yada yada. But yeah, no, and it's a good thing as well to kind of show that off a bit. It kind of gives everybody a clearer picture as to like these are the things we can definitely expect versus like, well, clearly not on the agenda, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think also like our roadmap is evolving a lot, especially with like bringing in Russell.
Mm,
Um, and even like I'm relatively new to the company. Like these games are pretty old for an early access game.
yeah,
So
yeah,
with both me and Russell, um, we're bringing in a lot of ideas and um a lot of like, oh, there's now new potential for the games. We're not locked into just add a few more features. We can rework a lot of stuff. We can improve a lot of stuff instead
yeah,
of just like saying for like Junk Punk, hey, we're just gonna make like tier 3 machines and add like one or two new machines. We can rework a lot of stuff. We don't need
yeah,
to
yeah,
just reskin and add like two or three more things.
yeah.
We can do a lot more now.
Yeah, and I mean that's a nice contrast as well to the likes of Gunsmith, because like I remember when Gunsmith was in its early days, you had a fixed warehouse where that's what you had, that was the space you had. You could even see the boss
Hmm.
on his keyboard like tapping away, and that was just it. It was just like a
Hmm.
fixed thing that couldn't be changed. But then through the evolution of Gunsmith and Junk Punk that the team have done, now there's a lot more freedom for players to kind of explore a bit more in the design and the play, the overall will to play with the game as well as play the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will say also, we're talking a lot about Gunsmith and
Yeah,
Junk
yeah, yeah,
Punk, so
that's
I
true.
guess I'll post this video to both Gunsmith and Junk Punk whenever you upload it. But um, I there's there might be some reworks for Gunsmith as well.
Hmm.
I will say with like what Rich showed in not the last video but the video before that.
Yeah.
um how do I want to phrase this? There's a reason why 1.0 isn't released yet,
Mm.
and like if it was just, hey, we're just adding a bunch of new machines and objects, um 1.0 would most likely have been released. That's about all I can say on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, well,
Um
I mean, he was kind enough in that video to not give us the details, but he was kind enough to tease us, which we could work out for ourselves, that he really wants to not only polish and add a bit
yeah.
of content, but he really wants to pack, rack, stack, and wrap wrap with a nice neat bow before we get that 1.0. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
for
was
sure.
pretty much clear in that video, like that he did, which I'm glad he did as well. Like he clearly wasn't holding back anything. He was nice enough to give us the in and outs of what it is he wants to do and how he plans. Well, not totally how he plans to, but how he plans to do it in a sense.
Yeah. um I think also I have a writing background, so well, I guess also like devs are pretty big in the art the
Hmm.
art background as well. But like I'm a big fan of the saying art is never complete; it's just abandoned.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I think like for Gunsmith, our big problem is like we can make the 1.0 even more massive, like even bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and we want like the 1.0 to be like, yeah, now the game is like 99.9% complete, and maybe we add like one or two features, one or two machines down the line, but
yeah,
mostly it's
yeah,
just going to be like bug fixes. And then on the other side for Junk Punk, since we've committed to 5 monoliths and we've only released two, it's like, oh my god, what, like do we want to make like monolith 3 super huge? Do we want to like what do we want to improve with this? Do we want to like um make monolith 3 mostly like improvements and then like add new like do mostly new features for like 4 and 5? So
yeah, yeah. And
yeah,
and
just mhm.
and I suppose like given that there's always the possibility then that you, it's not just a case of moving on, but sometimes to move on, you'll have to move back as well, which I kind of,
Yeah.
because I was playing around in Junk Punk and I noticed that between Monolith 1 and Monolith 2, I got the idea into my head to say, do you know what? To accomplish that task, it actually would be nice to have to go back to the junk to look for something specific to bring
Hmm.
in. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, and that carries on to the monoliths as they come along. You have to kind of go back and again, I know with some updates that the save files are not going to work. You'll have to create a new save. You'll have to start from the very
Sure,
beginning.
sure.
But that's part of the fun as well, starting from the beginning and kind of working out well what's been added since I played last. Because otherwise, I would have found it too easy keeping the same file. You know.
Yeah. I I don't I don't know exactly what our decision is slash
Mm.
is going to be, but I will say, and we've like already publicly said this, we're gonna heavily encourage people to start a new save
Yeah.
whenever we do the next patch. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Has can I ask?
yeah.
And this can be replied to with a simple no comment. Are you or is SCT? Because this was mentioned as well, I think in focus group. But is SCT in a place to tell us will this ramp be fixable from the get go, or as a task? Are they allowed to say that to us, or is this going to be a no comment answer?
I am so glad you asked. I actually wanted to go over this.
Yeah.
Have you have you read the latest article we put out on
I
Substack?
I actually did. Do you know what? I need to read it again. I did see a bit of it, and believe it or not, it was while I was in work, and I had somebody looking over my shoulder, so I had to.
Ah,
I actually only got an indication that the article went up, and this was a fault of my own. I forgot that the article was there to read because I was trying to read it and working, and somebody was over my shoulder. I was like, okay, better get back to work, and then I
yeah.
then I completely forgot. But you
Um,
you said you wanted to discuss it though, but go ahead. What
Yeah,
what what?
let me tell. So, I swear. By the way, guys, this was not scripted. I swear to God, this is not scripted. I genuinely wanted to go over this. I messaged with Umbrella a little bit back and forth on kind of what I wanted to cover, but like super broad stroke stuff. And I did not mention like the ramp, I may have mentioned the monolith or something, but I'm so glad you specifically asked for the ramp. So, um. I'm going to go into the article and share my screen.
Yeah.
Um,
Apologies, guys, but I won't be able to show the screen that Fenari is about to show us, but I
oh
will
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
Okay,
will
so you can just give us a play-by-play of
yeah,
what you're seeing,
and
and so
and I'll also add a link
uh
to it when I post the video. So
based. Give me more views. I crave the views. Um, share screens. Uh, wait, no. It would be monitors. Yeah, screen one. Great.
oh, actually, you know what? I
Okay.
might be able to use that as a pop out and then just bring it across.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think of that. Hold on one sec till I see if I can just do. Ah, lovely! It shows up in the stream so people can see.
Okay, great. Perfect. So you can see me scrolling down.
Yep.
So we got picture number one. This we're going. Y'all should read this, by the way. It's really good. We spent way too long going back on and forth on this.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll just say we spent over a month on this article.
Yeah. And I love that
So yeah,
artwork as well, like the what looks like a batch tank, like
yeah.
a bio tank. Like I love that artwork, and I love how it kind of um what would you call it? Like it's like comic book art, like it's awesome. Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean? And I love that
Yeah.
this is actually how far I got in the article before I had to close it. But yeah,
Oh, that's so sad. Just letting you know, we did mention this before. It's not mentioned in this article. This is AI art, so if people get super triggered at that, we mentioned it before. And what did I want to say? Yeah, Rich went into it might have been Stable Diffusion, I don't remember, but he spent like a good chunk of his day, maybe even longer, trying to like get get the AI to like understand what JUNKPUNK looked like, and then we have like an article just showing like a bunch of like concept art pieces to get us inspiration for Monolith 3 and 4. But yeah, y'all can read that as well, and I can give you a link to that. But that's on
yeah.
our Steam. But specifically, what's this over here? What do you see over here, Umbrella?
I see a nice world and I see a very big itch on my shoulder on my head getting scratched, which is good.
Yeah.
but but I see the answer to our Lord and Savior, the Games Master, that the ramp has been fixed.
Yeah, so we're very heavily considering um like just having the ramp fixed initially, and
Mm,
we talked a lot in the focus group about the tutorial taking place around the monolith, because it's really weird to go back and forth from the crash site to the monolith to the crash site to the monolith. um and what do I want? So we're considering these things, and also something I didn't know. I swear, neither Russell nor I knew this, and then we were just, because a lot of people in the focus group talked about like, hey, cover the hotkeys, like highlight the hotkeys. We should know at least like 90% of what the hotkeys do immediately. And one of the things you can see is the tech key progression, and also the bio key progression as well. So you don't have to like go back into the monolith and see like how many materials you have left. So like even highlighting that as well, just so like more clarity. Tutorial, we're very much looking into fixing the ramp and making your tutorial different, reworking that, and having a big chunk of your tutorial um, be around the monolith. I don't think we talked about it that much because Russell was in pretty big agreement on it. So
mhm.
we didn't really go into details. I just said like, hey, here's what we covered, talked about that. And then he's like, yep, absolutely. That's pretty much my memory
Yep.
from that conversation. But yeah.
Just a quick
Um,
stoppage there. Just noticed Chris Phoenix. Welcome to the chat, guys.
oh, hey, guys. Yeah. Hey,
Hi.
you remember the focus group?
I was apparently not there for the part where we were talking about the keys themselves, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that's in the game.
Yeah.
I think that
We
was
talked a
right after
Mhm.
you left. Yeah.
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 But yeah, we talked a lot about the keys, which I didn't think people had that many. Yeah, I'll say, like what we covered because this is public. We covered like just making the tech keys feel like, hey, why do we need like 50 of something? Why not 100? Why not 25? So having more like storyline clarity for that, or any type of clarity among that, and then also maybe piecing out the tech keys, so like either having it like literally chopped up into four pieces. So like the gold and I think it's like gold and iron for one piece, and like um the like hardware for another piece, and whatnot was oh, that's what, crap, I forgot. Thank you for running around. I forgot to tell Russell this. Everyone hates the scrap lasers.
Mm.
I forgot to tell him that. I need to talk to him about that. That was the one thing I forgot, and I just remembered.
Mm.
Um,
Okay. I
but
don't hate it. I think that they can be improved.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, absolutely.
definitely improved, but like I was this came from our conversation where I forget who it was who told us, but who was it that said, "Oh, there's a huge tire on the map"? Who said that?
Oh,
That was Chris. Yeah,
Ah, Chris. Like not that I was complaining about it, but like I think we were kind of hinting, we were kind of tiptoeing around like there's so much scrap and the lasers go through it so quick that you're running back and forth. And then
yeah,
I kind of had this notion. I've also noticed that there's huge assets on the map, such as forget now. Don't worry about this one because that's a drone thing that we were
yeah,
talking saying you see degradation on it as time goes on. But I noticed that there's a lot of large scale objects on the map, such as tires, metal beams, what could be electronic components, big ones, and as well as having the scrap piles there, so that people wouldn't get upset with having to go back and forward using the initial lasers.
hmm,
That these could be more brought into the game more, where a laser could be set up to point at them, and that way you could leave the laser for a long set of
oh,
time where
hmm,
where and I take it that I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder, but I'm willing to bet that somehow or other these objects take up memory in code for the game.
yeah, I'm sure.
So just bit of water in the brain said to me, well, if we could set up lasers in front of these big objects, they last a while. So the laser, is breaking them down, where eventually they become destroyed. And yeah, you're doing a little bit of map cleanup, but at the same time, it gets rid of an asset. It helps with memory on the code or whatever way that works. But at the same time, it means that you could make use of the large stuff on the map. Again, the game is JUNKPUNK, so you're using the junk left behind, not just the
not just the scrap piles.
not just the scrap piles, because as a leaf droid yourself, you use your laser to kind of get the initial stuff to build everything, and then I said, well, again, those scrap piles, they disappear way too quickly. Those, like, so either they would have to have a long lasting amount in them for the lasers to justify the use of lasers, so that you don't have to keep running back and forward, or you can leave them as they are. That's perfectly fine. And once you initially use them up with the lasers, you could point the lasers at these big assets to leave them there for a long set of time, so that you can go and do what you need to do to build. And that way, I think everybody would kind of be happy. Where, yeah, we as discussed, we get the possibility of upgrading the lasers so that they're a little bit more autonomous, but at the same time, we could even stick around where they initially are. Yeah, you have the auto rotate, but at the same time, now you don't need the auto rotate, or you can use it on these assets, because if there's enough of them in a line or whatever, you get to, and it would take a long time for them big assets to get broken down by the laser, so that you can plan a bit more and build and have fun a bit more, rather than having to, as I said, go back and forward. I'll just throw that out there. It was just a note that to be honest, I only thought about it today, before this call, so that's just something I wanted to lay out.
I think you've finally come up with a very satisfying use for the constructed industrial laser. It makes sense that the Leaf unit's laser isn't strong enough to actually interact with these megastructures, but the constructed, the base powered, much more powerful laser, brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was because, if you remember in our, sorry, go on, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say, part of that, especially, like, I did talk to Russell about the like degrading, what do I want to say, like degrading megastructures and stuff like that. And remind me to touch back on that. I have like a overall point to talk about.
Yep.
But yeah, like, especially incorporating the laser tower into that, and maybe making like the drones interact with it more, and like the laser tower is going to be like your tier 1 way of interacting with megastructures.
Yeah, I mean, would this be classed as a megastructure? This, not this, but this in front of me here.
Yeah,
would that be classed as a megastructure?
I would imagine so. By the way, for anyone watching this, I've written one line of code in my life, and it's ping-t 0.0.0.0 in command prompt. Other than that, I have no background in coding whatsoever.
Mine was hello world.
So, yeah, so I am talking completely out of my ass, and if I say some dumb shit, that's probably why. So yeah, I would imagine either it is coded or can be very simply coded as a megastructure, or like we can do a tier 1 megastructure, a tier 2 megastructure.
That would definitely work.
Something like that, yeah.
Compatible
like
tiers.
Yeah, or
if
like
I can jump
the
in
small.
real quick.
Yeah.
So I know that there is a limited amount of points that the drones go to, and not all of those points are structures like what Umbrella was looking at. So, as an easy solution, having the laser able to shoot those structures that aren't designated for the drones already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah.
I mean, look, it's a large map that possibly I don't, again, I know it does not so much you're allowed to talk about for now, but if they plan to make the map, if they do plan to make the map bigger, perhaps they would allow deep core drilling for ores, where you could justify this megastructure getting completely destroyed by the drones once it's used up. By then you're able to assign drones to core drillers to get
Yeah, we talked about that in the focus group, and I brought that up to Russell. So for the point of like destroy everything and then like have ore veins pop up in some way, maybe like PAL opens them up or anything like that.
Mm.
We did talk about that. That's all I can say is we we talked about it.
No, that's fine.
Um,
That's fine.
and then what's up?
Or because this is one island on a planet, having drones that go out of the map, quote unquote.
Sure,
because
sure,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Or, I mean, another lore-friendly option. This is a planet that's had a lot of junk dumped on it. Perhaps there are ancient landfills or buried structures that
Yep.
are not accessible now
Mm.
when there's so many easy access options. But if somehow the player ever does exhaust every scrap option, then they get the option to drill underground
Yeah.
for ancient scrap piles, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, and I can say this: we do want to have a solution. What that solution looks like, no idea. But we do want to have a solution.
There's so much scrap, though. That
Yeah.
seems.
But again, like Chris, I did like we did say that, and we can justify the reduction of all this scrap on the map if, for example, there's just
Yes.
enough scrap piles to build your initial laser turrets to assign to basically point at these larger structures, which in turn will last a long time. So, for example, one of these will give you, I don't know what, 10,000 scrap or 10,000 rubber or something, give or take. Uh, Again, and I'm talking about that and I've no experience in the programmer side or the dev side, but I'm going to presume that all these little scrap piles take up a ton of memory overall on the map or the game.
Honestly, I don't think they do.
That, again, that's fine, and I'm glad you could put me right on that.
Yeah, because my processor specifically is pretty trash, and I run this in 1440p. Like I run the game in 4K, no problem.
Yeah.
And like Gunsmith, for example, that takes up way more memory, and it's like a whatever, not third person view, like top down point of view.
Yeah.
Where like this, I would imagine it would be the opposite. Like JUNKPUNK takes up a lot of memory, but it doesn't. I think because they're static, and
It's
like
also,
you can't.
it's the unique assets. That's what takes up more memory.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
having 10,000 copies of
Oh,
scrap
okay,
pile
gotcha.
is basically just plus one number,
Right.
because they've loaded the pile once, and then it's just duplicate
multiplied.
that X
Yeah,
number
yeah,
of
yeah,
times.
yeah.
It's having the unique assets
Yeah.
simultaneously loaded.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, look, look, overall, I can't complain about the junk piles there because it does add to the story, b the beauty, b the beauty of the overall art of the game. And from what I was for what I was saying about using turrets on the larger structures to kind of get you going, that was just more on a automation point of view, because again, games like this really do promote automation, but it's very hard to automate if you have to keep going back and physically doing it.
Yeah.
Correct.
I wanted to touch on a small point and a big point, and then we can go back to open Q&A discussions or whatever. But specifically for the map, I don't know how much I should talk about, but right now we super feel that there's not that much incentive to explore. So I'll just say before we think of expanding the map that much more, we want to add way more incentives for you to explore, be that in maybe some lore or some like extra missions or side tasks or whatever. In some way we want to make you feel that like you should want to explore every corner of the map before we expand. And also no, that's all I'll say on that. And then the other thing also is Russell isn't like he's openly said this in the first video that he hasn't played any automation games before. So a big thing I wanted to hammer in on him, and then a big thing we covered in the focus group is just understanding that a lot of players who play automation games want like a satisfying experience. So for example, like I want to have everything like perfectly square in the corner. So like for the construction is something we went over a lot. Or like for example, if I want to play this game for 100 hours and clear like every single piece of scrap and then like destroy every single piece of thing,
Mm.
I should be able to do that as well. So just having it in his mind, in the back of his head, like the more satisfaction I can add to these types of players, the better, is something I wanted to drill into him, and something that y'all refocused me on as well.
Yeah.
And I will say, um, there. Oh, how give me like 10 seconds for me to think if I can cover this.
Well,
I'll say
I
there's
don't
more. What's up?
I don't know how much you know about what is available to explore, but it breaks down to paints, hats, and music discs.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and there is some extra logs and stuff. There's like a lab
Yeah.
with like the
Can't
airplane curve. But
turbine.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I
We're
did.
we're on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, like that. To be honest with you, and that was discussed. Like what was going on in there. Like I sat, like just I put up a comment as well on the Twitter or the X at this stage. Well, like
Yeah.
I sat in that room for an hour, like just coming up with so like, and I'm not in aviation. I'm in nothing of the sort. But like I just said,
Mhm.
what would they have been doing in there? Like we get a little bit of flavor text like as to the projects that was going on, which kind of lets you have a little rumble in your head about, well, what could they have been doing, and it was a nice hour to kind of sit around and play around with the thought of it. But then that's when I got a bit mad. I was saying, damn, I would have actually liked something there more involved on the outside of
Yeah.
this room.
Yeah, there will be a lot of expansion in the storyline.
Mm.
And yeah, what I figured out how to say this. In throughout the storyline, you're going to have some satisfying, like I covered in that area of satisfaction, you are going to have some satisfying moments, or at least decisions that you can add to your satisfaction, and that's pretty much all I can cover at this point.
Hmm.
But yeah.
All good.
That's fine. Yeah.
I,
Or like,
I
wait, sorry, let me rephrase that. We are heavily looking into that, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. But just in case, this is mostly from like Russell pitching stuff in a PowerPoint, so it's subject to change.
Yeah.
But we are very much looking into that and
Mhm.
would like to do that.
Yep.
So
I threw some
finally telling the
ideas.
team what the overall story is gonna be.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of ideas, and yeah, we're getting to it. We are the story is a big thing, and yeah, I'm helping Russell a little bit with it, but he is doing like 95% of the work. He is leading the
I
ship.
I vaguely remember him saying something about he's figured out the end of the game and has it written down on a notepad that's locked in his safe at his house. It's like
Amazing.
Russell, what the or
Yeah,
not? Yeah.
he has pitch stuff for the ending of the game. I will say that. Again, I I'm gonna be honest, just from a player perspective, not even like from an insider perspective. I am very incredulous and would be very surprised if the endings he's come up with make it like largely into the game, because there's so much that can be subject to change and so much
Oh
for
yeah.
the lore to be expanded on. Like if you were giving me 2-to-1 odds on either side, I would check the box saying that that the endings are going to be heavily changed instead of remain the same. But we'll see.
Oh yeah.
If everything stays the course, then cool, I'm wrong. But yeah. Um yeah, I don't know.
I
But yeah.
Yep.
I will say, like, from a player perspective, I fully expect that we recover the world, we save the world, blah, we re-terraform the world. Outside of that, I'm excited to see what happens.
Mm,
Yeah.
same. Oh, damn, that's a nice view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lighting in this game is really good, by the way. Like you can
Oh
get
yeah.
some really pretty screenshots if you're patient. Um And yeah, at some point,
On
hopefully,
on the flip side, the nights can be incredibly dark and
yeah.
impossible to navigate.
Yeah, and that's why also I did bring this up a little bit that like the contrast. We didn't really go over art in the focus group. But like the contrast when you have like NWR tech, like you don't really need lights. It's super easy to navigate when you have like NWR stuff. But yeah, if you're just like doing scrap, I have to have my flashlight on 24/7. So
Mm.
yeah. Um, but yeah. Anything I do have one other small topic to cover. Um, if anyone else wants to go anywhere with it, because like I only have like 60 seconds of stuff to say from it. But yeah, if anyone else has any questions or anything.
I'm good.
I'm
Yeah,
just
all right,
here to
cool.
listen.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I guess the only other thing, so Umbrella, I know you said you love to live in the tier 1 realm, in the scrap realm.
Well, I
It,
mean, not live per se, but more so specialize in it. Like again,
sure,
my
sure.
argument in our last conversation was I didn't feel there was enough there to justify moving on so quick to NWR.
Sure,
No,
for sure.
and now granted, that's a bit of an unfair statement considering that again it's early access. Now Russell's on board and they're kind of going back a bit and looking to fix up a few things as we know and add a bit more, etc., etc. But you know the only worry there for anybody starting out is how much are they going to add or how much is going to be available to us because you know it's the fact that there's a lot from a developer's point of view, like or from a team's point of view, there's a lot of love that goes into creating the machines and the art and everything else, and you want that as much as
Mm.
that as possible to last in the game and not just be abandoned once you get something new.
Yeah,
Once,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so not again that, and I know I kind of said like I do well in tier one, but that was more so that I like to get the most out of it as possible before not I want to, but I have to move on to tier two upwards and the new tech, you know. So I like again I think that's why there probably needs to be more taken away from the player to be able to craft things where it requires you to build machinery to craft because you can I noticed you can craft pretty much or most of everything yourself to begin with, and then yeah you can get the crafting station which can do the rest, but to me that's kind of cheaty. Like you do have a crafting machine that you can build and you can do stuff, and I really think that to get the most out of tier one that little end game of tier one needs to be expanded a bit more. Like you need certain machines to be able to craft certain things and get those objects to make it again to make it last as much as possible, get the most out of it. That's what I meant by specializing and living in tier one.
Yeah.
It's just to get the most out of it before you move on.
Well, I'm happy you say that because we are looking at adding at least one more tier 1 machine to the game. Um, Most likely it will be added because I've seen art for the machine, like not like concept art, like actual proper like in game. I don't know how the hell it's done, but like in game we've made the assets.
Yeah.
Uh, Assets for it. So uh, Scrap is most likely getting at least one more machine. So we did hear you guys on expanding the functionality in some way. Oh, and I can cover another thing actually now that I thought about it. Um, Adding some functionality to tier 1 stuff with another machine. So exciting stuff on that. There was another small thing oh yeah, and we said also like I know we covered this, but just like it doesn't feel super good. Like, okay, now that I have NWR stuff, I'm just gonna take my laser and destroy all my like junk tier stuff to feed it more into NWR, or just like completely abandon it.
Mhm.
So Russell at least has the idea of let's have even a small point, even like I did pitch the idea of like maybe NWR is more efficient but slower and junk is faster but less efficient or something like that. Maybe even making it like we don't want it to be like 50-50, like half the time it's efficient, more efficient to use junk, and half it's NWR. We want to make it more like somewhere between 90 and 99% of the time you want to be using NWR stuff, but still have, if there's players that want to like mostly use junk tier, there's still that room. But for most other players, there still is a big reason in like certain instances to use NWR tech. So that is something we're looking at. I don't know if we will implement it.
Mhm.
And even if we do, I don't know if we'll implement it next patch or next few patches.
Mhm.
But that is something that was discussed. Y'all have been heard on that. The other thing I wanted to say that I didn't think about, and everyone brought it up and liked the idea, I believe everyone liked the idea, was like in Factorio, you can have, with your machines, you can have like a little inventory slot. Like tier 1 have 1, tier 2 have 2, tier 3 have 3, where you can add like modifications like, oh, it goes a little bit faster at the cost of electricity, or oh, it's more electricity efficient, or I think the other one is like it outputs more for at the cost of electricity again. And so like having modifications potentially for machines, and then modifying like adding more modifications to yourself slash your lasers and stuff was something Russell thought about, like the body modifications and stuff already, but he didn't consider the like Factorio style, like just add an extra inventory slot for mods specifically. Um, so he really liked that idea. That's all I can say, because I genuinely, we have no more information on that other than we really like the idea. No idea if it will be implemented, but it's a nice idea, and I think it would be really cool, especially adding. I think it adds a lot more flexibility to. We can make Monolith 1 longer if we want. We can make Monolith 2 longer if we want, because you can still play around with the modifications and stuff. And alternatively, we can make like tier 1 modifications really expensive, and then tier 2 like incredibly expensive, to where like you still have a reason to make like tier 1 stuff,
Mm.
at least modification side. So I personally think it'll add a lot more flexibility and fun to the game. But I have no idea if we're going to be able to pursue it or not. But it is an idea where we've written down. It's written down. We got it.
It'll give me something to sink my hundreds of chests worth of basic
Yeah.
processors into.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and recycler slash deletion. That is something Russell really wants to do as well, and shouldn't be super hard. So yeah, we'll. Again, that goes into the satisfying part as well. We don't want people to have like a million pumps, in their inventory. So yeah. That's pretty much all I got, guys. Any other questions, comments, concerns? You have a rare opportunity that will be probably like once a week or once every 2 weeks now.
Ah.
To ask me anything. I don't I think Umbrella is the only other gunsmith player here, but if you want to ask about our other game, that's fine as well.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
the only real question that I have is, we have a lot of these ideas. We have a lot of stuff in the beta version of the game and not
Mhm.
the standard version of the game. Is there any idea on when a patch will come?
Yeah,
For JUNKPUNK or
what year
Gunsmith?
is it?
For Junk?
No, genuinely no. I have some milestones that I know, so internally we have some semblance of a schedule, but like even if I knew, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you. But specifically, like at this stage, I think it would be way too irresponsible for me to give you a date and time.
Okay.
So yeah, but we do have a schedule, and it's more solidified than when I started taking over JUNKPUNK in, was it November that I started? It was either early November or early December. Here I can look real quick.
the the thing that I will advocate for is
Oh, early
not
December, yeah.
not tying patches to new monolith introductions,
I agree. Yep.
because the time between
yep.
monoliths is really long.
Mm.
Yep.
And I mean, based on the number of people that have jumped into the channel and said dead game,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that's worrying. Like as well.
any
Yeah.
type of patch on Steam, just anything, even if it's just something simple like adjusting max stack size, something that doesn't need a whole lot of QA testing,
Yeah.
just something to show that there's a more regular cadence to patching.
Yeah, I agree. We're with you. Um,
And it doesn't necessarily need to be a bug patch fix either. I mean, like it could be a test patch where the team want to say, we thought that this was too much, we're just nerfing a bit to test out and see.
sure,
But, you know,
yeah.
if anything, it really does keep the game audience updated and as well as that, they can be assured that, oh no, like the guys are pretty much making sure that the game is pristine, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I can't really go into detail on that at all, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
agree.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no. We're not expecting you to. We're just
No, I've got my notebook. I'm writing down. I'm quoting you on exact dates and
Yeah,
timelines.
I mean, this is recorded anyway. Like anyone can, like, if there's any people that want to like look into every single detail, but yeah, like for example, on the art, did y'all see when? Yeah, y'all just came in when I showed the article. But yeah, we'll be dropping a few hints every now and then. But yeah, like anything I say, I have a journalism background, so I'm like pretty careful with like I can hint at stuff without and generally know like what I can and can't even like hint at and stuff. So this is something that I can't even like hint at all or anything.
gotcha.
Also there was one other thing. This is why I should be writing stuff down more. I'm so like when I'm taking notes, and I'm in the mindset of taking notes, I write down questions as well, no problem. But when I'm out of like the mindset of taking notes, I will just I'll just trust my mind, and like 4/5 of the time it works, and then 1/5 of the time it doesn't work, and then like another 4/5 of the time I'll remember eventually what I wanted to say, but I think this is one time that I'm genuinely not going to remember until Umbrella like goes to the part of the map and I'm like, oh yeah, the laser machine. I forgot to tell Russell about that.
Yeah.
I just got a cool idea as well from again.
Yeah.
What I said earlier about like being able to set up lasers for the big assets, like if they got used up, some kind of machine that allows you to call in those to drop scrap.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Like, did
Yeah,
anybody
well,
did anybody ever
yeah,
see that movie? Did anybody ever see that movie Soldier with Kurt Russell?
Yes.
He winds up on that junk planet, but there's ships coming in dropping junk, and I said, dude, there's an idea for JUNKPUNK.
Yeah, that is a heavily requested thing in
Yeah.
the Discord, and it has been logged. I briefly like we didn't talk about it at all in the focus group, but I did briefly mention it to Russell. So again, that is one of the many fix ideas that we have.
I mean,
But again,
the specific assets are already in the game and roaming around. Those airships are already flying around. Presumably, they've been picking up things for decades now. Give the player some way of hacking them and causing them to drop.
Bro,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be real.
it'd
Do
be-
you guys know like the pipe mini game where you're supposed to like connect like one end to like curve the pipes to like the other end for like hacking mini games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that shit in games. I'm gonna be real. Like there's a game I played called I think it's literally just called Thief Simulator 1 and 2. They just released 2, by the way. I've really enjoyed it. But yeah, it has that mini game, and I love that shit. That's really fun to me. But yeah, like I hate lockpicking. I hate I don't know what the other typical mini games are, but specifically like the little hacking mini game. I really like the like pipe line stuff up type mini game.
They have that in Helldivers.
Oh, based, awesome. Oh yeah. Also, as a side note, since I'm looking at that, I did yell at Russell a lot. Snap things from the bottom. Please, God, allow people to snap things from the bottom. Like, it's super easy. I'm pretty sure it's just a hitbox thing. Let's do it. And he's like, yeah, okay, great. So yeah, that is also again, I don't know what's going to be in the next patch, but I would be very disappointed if we didn't add that in the next patch of snapping into the bottom.
All right, my stairway from heaven can finally progress.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's pretty much it, guys.
I mean, on a final note, I will say that one thing that Satisfactory and Factorio and all those other things have that hopefully now JUNKPUNK has is someone dedicated to being a part of the community and being like, hey, this is what the community wants. This is what the community says. I'm here to answer questions. I've got all of this knowledge. I've got this background stuff. So
I do community. I guess I'm the community manager. We haven't really solidified titles, but I do community management. So yeah, like I'm generally going to be your guy. Russell checks the Discord really frequently as well.
Oh yeah.
Do not ping him though. I swear to God, if I see people spam pinging him, I'm going to get mad. But yeah, you're welcome to spam ping me, and Russell usually sees it as well. But yeah, spam ping me, DM me. Like I can generally answer most questions, and if I can't, I'm one of those people that if I can't answer the question, I'll ask someone else to answer the question for us. So yeah, guys, like if you guys have any questions ever, usually just dropping it in the discussion is fine. Either like someone from this group will probably, other than me, will probably have the answer for you anyway. Like one of our mods will probably have the answer. But if I'm not out, and especially like on Mondays or Tuesdays, I'm 24/7 on my computer. I'll probably see it and be able to answer it. And you're welcome to spam ping me. That's fine.
I will say that over the years I've been a hard advocate of like, don't ping people unnecessarily.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Here have been super good at getting back to people. It might take a few hours, it might take a day or two, but they always get back.
Yeah, I do think a frustrating thing for a player is you encounter problem and you see like I forgot, we're at like 900 people in JUNKPUNK or whatever. You see like a bunch of 100 people in the game, and you think this is like a super simple answer, and you want an answer within like 120 seconds. You don't want to have to wait like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Shit, I forgot it again. Because you started repairing stuff, and I wanted to go on a tangent about that for like 5 seconds, and that made me forget the other thing that I was going to briefly bring up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I blame you. Okay, cool.
That's an umbrella. You're banned from the Discord. You screwed everything up.
It's a ploy to ban you.
Well, what were you gonna say?
He doesn't.
I'll just chill here
Tell
for
us about the
minutes.
repairing.
Oh yeah, repairing is just something that it's really annoying if you're if you're like lasering around, and immediately right when your laser passes over a player structure, it takes damage. So I think just adding like an extra half-second delay to it before it starts taking damage would be a really helpful patch to make game feel more satisfying, and not you having to like fly around repair, like going over every tile that has damage and repairing it. So yeah, that is something I need to bring up with Russell as well.
There is
but that combo that with floating hitbox hit point tallies, so you can accidentally graze something with your laser and partially damage a structure and never know it until you accidentally mouse over it again. But if any damaged structure would just show the floating green bar that's incomplete, then it would be very easy to home in on, oh, I need to repair this one. Okay, got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Or even just at the time have a damage number pop up.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think also a problem with the damage number might be because, like, a lot of the time you're like, oh, I place this here, I don't want to place it, and then you start lasering it. And then we would have to, like, distinguish between what you're currently lasering and then, like, oh, you just lasered something else for, like, half a tick or something.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
1 tick. I don't think there's such a thing as half a tick, but yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, alright, cool. Yeah, as a side note, have any of you heard or played a game called Hard Space Shipbreaker by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
I own a
Hundreds of
copy
hours.
of that, but I've never played it.
Bro, it's such a good. It's one. Unironically, I think it's one of my favorite games. It's super good. I would highly. It's it'll get you only for like 30 hours or something, and you can it has a lot of replayability regardless, but you can do pretty much everything within like 20 to 30 hours. So like if you have a good weekend or week where you want to pick up another game, and since you already have it, would super recommend it for you, Chris. But a point of the game is like initially when it starts, like you have a laser and you can be pretty aggressive with it, and as long as you aren't a dumbass and like hold down the click for like literally like 3 seconds or something, you're not like it's not going to be a problem. And then it gets to the point where you're like trying to disconnect like gas valves with a like laser that can cause things to explode. So you like a big part of the game is angling yourself to where you're only lasering one thing, and even if you don't immediately click off of it, like it can laser into infinity. It's not going to hit anything else. To where like JUNKPUNK, I don't think that feature, like that expectation should be set on the player. It's not. It's super unnecessary. But yeah, as a side note, guys, play Hard Space Shipbreaker. Really good game. Really fun movement.
Yeah. Definitely only 30 hours. Don't look at off-topic links and memes. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's still challenge modes and stuff. I really like it, and I wish they added another patch to it. Like, if they added, like, even a singular new ship in the last, like, I think I've owned it for 2 years or something. Like, I would go back and play it. I've gone back and played it just for a little bit. But I don't remember what I want to say. But yeah, no, would if people are in the indie scene, would recommend it. And also, my processor is dog shit, and I can still run it perfectly fine. It has some insane 3D movement and jetpacking, and it has like inertia. You don't just like start and stop, so you do have to pace yourself. And there's some epic mechanics. You're deconstructing a very big ship. It feels like
the concept of the game is that you are someone who is hired to help clean up space after space has been severely messed up with all kinds of ships.
Mm.
Yeah, and so like they just like tow in a big ass spaceship, and like it's like they'll say I think like the spaceships are literally like in the few hundred feet. And you're like, oh, a few hundred feet. But it literally, like, every inch of the ship is, like, you can deconstruct it. So it's literally, like, you want to deconstruct, like, a 6-inch by 6-inch panel, shoot it over there, and then, like, start manually, like, taking stuff out with your grappler and stuff. So, like, every inch of the game feels really nice. And, yeah, it's super satisfying and super, if you want to be very meticulous, it's very nice for you. And also has what do I want to say? Like southern banjo music, and that sounds really cringe, but they actually make the music like really nice. And I've never seen like an epic southern banjo aesthetic in a game. So other than like I guess oh god, what's that game? The really cool Project Zomboid. Other than like in Project Zomboid, I've never seen that executed. So like yeah, the vibes of the game super cool. Would highly recommend.
Do you know who else did that actually with the music? Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah, true. I've only played No, I've played 1 for a little bit, but yeah, I've played 2. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Left 4 Dead like did that kind of outback country guitar, like
Yeah,
you know, yeah. Ah, memories.
Yeah. Oh, hey, there you go. There it is. Yeah, no, this game is lit. 150, my man. There it is, dude.
Hey, when I really like a game, I really like a game.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, for me, I don't know if I said this in the focus group, but I usually like play a game until I've got everything I want out of the game. So like I only complete maybe like 50% of the games I play. So for example, oh yeah, I do think I said, like, for example, Slime Rancher. I kind of saw like, oh yeah, you just get like cooler and cooler slimes, but after a while I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, you know, like I could discover some more cool slimes, and like if I played it for another like 5, 10, 20 hours, I'll get like the extra 5%, but like I already like have 95% of what I want from the game. Like it's fine, I just went to another game. But yeah, like if you love a game, sometimes like Project Zomboid, for example, is something I go back to like once or twice a year and make like another server or something. But yeah, guys, I guess that's pretty much it. We're looking to do these maybe once a week, every other week or something. But if like people are on break right now because the UK is epic and has proper holidays instead of us, where my fiance works for the government and doesn't have Easter. She didn't have Easter Friday or Easter Monday off, so very cool. But what did I want to say? But oh yeah, so TLDR, like I won't have any news for next week unless like Russell messages me with a bunch of stuff. So pretty much trying for like once every 2 weeks, but if like it's dead unless people have like a bunch of questions for us, like it might be a little bit longer. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, in the meantime, anyway, we're all going to be able to just hop into the general chat and stream and play around anyway. So
yeah. Oh, that I remember what I wanted to say. God,
yes.
The like the test version. Russell is looking. One of his current tasks right now is playing around with the test version and seeing what we have fixed, what we have like implemented and stuff, and bringing it to the current version, or seeing like what has the bones for it and what can be expanded, as opposed to like he doesn't want to start something completely new or tell one of the other devs / programmers to start something new and realize, oh yeah, bro, this was in the test version already. So yeah, we are looking at the test version for a little bit more expanded as well, to see if like the problems have already been solved or addressed a little bit and expand on that. So yeah, I just wanted to comment on that briefly.
Perfect.
But yeah,
there is I'm gonna find it real quick.
Sure.
And at one point posted like a full patch notes for disorders when they did the test version update. Just gotta find it again.
Okay.
That would
Yeah,
be
sure.
nice.
But yeah,
Well,
like I told, what's up?
I was gonna say, while he's searching, do you know what the rationale was behind all of the icons having that like flickery hashed texture?
No idea.
Okay.
It's my theory is it's green and we really like green. That's about it. Gunsmith is green, JUNKPUNK is green. We like green.
I'm just thinking on the bottom left, like those icons. Yes. Why are those not a solid white like the cloud icon in the bottom right?
We're looking into it. We are very much looking into it. This is a big pet peeve of Russell's.
Good.
Yeah, it's the UI. We always say like, oh yeah, give it like specifically for UI stuff. It's a little bit harder for us to say, oh, we don't like the UI, fix it. that's a little bit harder as opposed to, oh, we don't like the tutorial, for example, fix it. We have a bunch of ideas for that. But genuinely, like with JUNKPUNK, like we've had a lot of people say we don't like it, and we know a lot of ways we can improve it. So yeah, that is a big thing we're looking at as well, and a big pet peeve of Russell. So yeah, we got you.
What do we think
I thought it was
about
part of
the?
my leaf unit being broken. I was like, oh, once I talk to the monolith and like he fixes me, then all of these will become real icons and I can click them.
I actually thought the same. I was actually still. I haven't even used them. I was still waiting for them to highlight
like,
properly.
Literally, all it does is you press tab and you can hover over and it tells you stuff.
Like that's the thing. I was actually waiting for them to basically to do this, like to highlight properly, like thinking that they were something that you don't use yet. Well,
Yeah, we covered that, buddy. Yeah, that's we know. Yeah, we got you on that one.
Here's a question: what do we think about the flickering of the indicator, power indication lights on the machines?
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Dang it.
You'll see it better. You see it better in the dark.
I'll talk in general. I specifically have been pushing a lot for like more disability-friendly stuff, specifically like controller support. So I would imagine, especially like people that play video games that are prone to seizures or have like eye problems or stuff, would not want flickering green lights, especially on like our dark background. So yeah, like we did note the what did I want to say? Like options to turn off stuff, options to turn off like the flickering text and whatnot. Yeah. So yeah, like as soon as possible, but that might not be very soon. We do want to focus a lot on like accessibility issues.
Yeah.
And I don't know when we'll be able to get to that, but yeah, like you have someone fighting for accessibility stuff in the company. That's about all I can say right now, though.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, like, this same feature is in Gunsmith, we're probably aware as well, but it's probably more prominent in Gunsmith because when you have a line of machines, you really see it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
We're making a new accessibility-friendly text-based automation sim. It's just dark. It's all dark. No problem. And you can only use a controller. There you go, guys. You're welcome. This is what everyone wanted.
It's a text adventure game.
A text automation adventure. That's the new game.
But no,
that's what we're working
on. Only controller support.
Yeah, but only controller support.
Oh man.
We have a new SCT publishing site that you can only log in with controller. But you have to type everything out, like with the controller. Can't even like going right goes right. You have to like move the cursor with your controller.
Oh no.
Yes, I'm doing it. That's what I'm pitching to Rich. That's why he pays me the big bucks, guys. But yeah, like no, genuine jokes aside, like genuine there it is.
It worked.
But yeah, genuinely, like we are looking into accessibility issues, and you do have someone pushing and continually reminding, like, hey, by the way, like controller support, we can do a patch on controller support. A lot of people want it. Here's some stats about it. Like, hey, like, can we please turn off like some flickering and some eye issues and stuff? So yeah, like you do have someone looking out for you at least. But yeah, guys, it's been, I think, a little over an hour, so...
Yeah, we're about an hour and 10 minutes in.
Hour and 10 minutes, great, yeah. A little droning on toward the end, but yeah, that's fine. If you have... Wait, I'm sorry. You're playing on the test version right now, right?
Yeah. I am, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I just noticed this. In the main version, or this just might be my install, the NWR turbines look super pixelated to me, but on the test version it looks perfectly fine. So that is something to note as well that I just saw.
Yeah, I linked you what.
Oh, cool! It reflects.
Yeah, the
And-
reflections seem a lot better on this than the current build. But yeah, what were you saying,
yeah.
Phoenix?
I linked you directly what Ed posted after Rich said, "Hey, we put something in the test branch, like over a year ago, or just over a year ago."
Gotcha.
And that's what has been in the test version, as far as I'm
Oh, there.
aware.
Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, Wrestle is looking into that.
Okay.
And that's like one of his current assignments. But yeah, guys. I don't know. Do we have? Should we give an outro? Like intros are fine. I don't know. Like outros feel pretty cringe to me. Any
Oh.
thoughts, anyone?
Well, you said that you're gonna do this weekly, bi-weekly. Did you say what time?
Around this time is probably when it lines up, because Umbrella's in the UK, and usually so I drop my fiance off
Ireland.
from work.
I'm in Ireland.
Uh,
that's it.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's
sorry,
that's an
UK
Irish.
time zone,
Yeah,
whatever,
that's
bro.
an Irish versus British thing we don't like being called.
Yeah. But I just say because like most of the company is in UK area time
Yeah.
zone or whatever, so I can't be bothered to remember where. I know at least one other person is somewhere else in Europe, I think, and so yeah, time zones haven't been that bad, but oh god, time zones can get really problematic.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we
I'm so-
started this around what, around 10 past 5 UK time,
Yeah,
didn't we?
yeah. But yeah, around this time, because I usually drop my fiance off 3 hours ago, and so usually I'd like an hour or two to myself to get things together. I was working on doing some socials for Gunsmith, and then be able to jump into this. But yeah, so generally, yeah, it's gonna be around this time. Yeah. And then
So-
also it's going to be recorded for people to be able to see. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think like we're small enough that if you have a question based on what you've seen, like we can answer the what in the world did you just send me? Why is it called hammer time dot
It is
whatever?
a thing called Hammer Time, and you can put in your local time to just your local time zone, what time it is that you want to set the thing, and it will give you a link that will reflect in Discord the local time zones that the individual person has.
Oh, base, cool.
Yeah.
Also, as another
Helps with
side note,
scheduling so much.
but I'm very annoyed. So I knew this was a problem. I didn't know how big of a problem this is. So America, as the great independent and proud nation we are, we don't use standard time. So when people say CST, what they almost always mean is Central Time, not Central Standard Time. So if you ever you should never say, if you're in America, you should never say CST in an email, because you might think, oh yeah, the shortened version for Central Time for my time zone is Central Standard Time, and like 75% of the time it's correct. But we're in Central Time, Eastern Time. We are not in Eastern Standard Time. The only two states that use Standard Time in America are Arizona and Hawaii. No, is it Oregon?
Daylight savings.
You just say that until
Daylight
daylight
savings.
saving flip, and then everybody's
yeah.
back on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so hopefully,
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a debate, but apparently there's a big debate to make the rest of America go to Standard Time, which I think, like, we got the customary system. Can we at least have Standard Time? I'm a big fan of the customary system. Like, other than, no, actually, no, I just strictly like the customary system better. I don't like the 16 ounces shit, but everything else I really like about the customary system. But yeah, can we please at least standardize our time zones? Is our country really divided that we can't standardize our time zones?
Can't we all just use the same weight? Can't we all just use the same measurement?
No, I like pounds. I don't know what the fucking kilogram is. Like, when someone says I'm benching 10 kilograms, I don't know if that's a lot or a little bit. I have no clue. When someone says, bro, I'm like fucking 3 stones, 10 kilos. I have no idea what the hell you're saying.
I just came in with a little cattle prod and I
Yeah,
blew it all
no,
up,
no,
didn't
no, 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 no.
I?
I'm a big fan. I am a customary system guy. I think maybe for like really big things like, oh yeah, like what's like 1,000 kilometers versus like 78 miles, like that probably makes sense in very large or very small measurements. Like what the hell is 0.001 inches? That probably makes sense, but like to a normal person saying, yeah, like, oh bro, I'm like 5'10" and I drive like 20 miles to work, that's fine. For like science stuff, I'm not a scientist. I don't give a shit. Y'all can use meters, that's fine. But like for everyday stuff, I'm a big fan of the customary system. Yeah. That's our outro. Customary system is base, standard tone is not base. All right, catch you guys.
Yeah, that's what our outro is. An argument that pisses everybody off. Right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. See you for the next one.
Oh, yes! Oh my god, I have so many hot takes, bro. All right, based. All right, I'll probably see you guys in 2 weeks because I imagine I'm having a meeting with Russell in 2 weeks or something. But yeah, whenever I get more info from someone, we'll have another one of these. There was something else I want. Oh yeah, but right now, the focus group took a lot longer than expected, so now I'm just catching up on work mostly. And also, as a side note, probably mostly of interest only to Umbrella, we are very likely within the next 2 months having a gunsmith focus group as well. So look forward to that.
As
That's
Mr. Burns once said, excellent.
excellent. Yeah, excellent indeed. All right.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
See you guys. Yeah. All
See
right.
ya.
Umbrella, just send me the YouTube link whenever you upload it. You're
Yep.
free to continue chatting, guys. But I'm gonna be off doing other stuff for another business meeting that has nothing to do with C Corp Tech. And maybe I can do more work from home stuff, which would be really cool. But yeah, it's been fun. This was really, really cool. And you guys are awesome. Take it easy and cheers, guys.
See
Cheers
ya.
all. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.